It's 4:30, let's begin. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's WA2 online revision with Teacher Jason over here. All right. So, before I get started for today's revision, let me just give a brief intro on what is it about, and definitely thankful and grateful for you all for taking the time to actually come over here for this revision. So, of course, for those who I see some regular students of mine, all right, familiar names over here, all right, that's good. Thank you for taking your time. But I know a handful of yours who don't know who I am. So let me just give a quick intro over here, all right, in case if you're wondering whether this teacher is capable and what's not. All right, even though the name suggests that, okay, we do check for credentials before we actually conduct our sessions here, yeah? Okay, so let me just give a quick intro. Okay, so specifically, teachers don't really specify their surname, but for me, I have to because over here there's another Jason lah. So my name is Teacher Jason Yek. Okay, there's another Jason that teaches bio, so I have to specify the surname. So the subjection level I actually teach covers all the way from lower sec math all the way down to recently H2 math lah. So you are rest assured that I do have the capabilities to answer any concerns over here, specifically in terms of probability statistics and even algebraic manipulation for today, or specifically algebraic fractions lah. Okay, credentials over here, all these are just paper and stuff, but over here, if you realize how I actually convey my sessions, it's really more of a two-way communication. Okay, furthermore, in this case, for the math part, it's more of a coincidence lah. Not because I have a degree in math means I teach math. It's just a coincidence, and I would say it's been a 7 years of journey now. All right, numbers over here are really just figures for me because I'm grateful for you guys that actually allowed me to help you lah. Okay, and this 70% as well is grateful because you're able to understand my content. So thankful for me to allow to bring the benefit to you guys, and thankful for you guys to be here and see what I can do to help you all for your WA2 to come. Okay, so fun fact about myself, I don't just do math, of course. If you see over here, this is I think last year at the Eiffel Tower. I love to kind of kick and travel. So please do distress yourself instead of do distress a little at certain times during your free time. I understand WA2 revision can be rather tense, and especially when it's the O-level season. So do take a little short breaks here and there. Yeah. Okay, all right. Now, let's move on. Okay, so we are definitely grateful for you guys. Without your support, we won't be able to have all these wonderful locations over here. Mainly me, I'm located at Bukit Timah and Novena, all right, to guide you guys and giving a lot of help to 1,000 students at least every year. And especially for me, I'm able to help more than that, I would say, with the multiplier effect regards to my regular students and you guys. And of course, you may have heard of our brand regardless of Telegram, Instagram, and YouTube over here. So we are definitely grateful. And hopefully with this session, you will be convinced more enough to see for our sessions. And actually, who knows, I might be able to see you soon. Okay? Now, next up, okay, all these particular numbers here, 70% achieving distinctions, more of us from NUS, NTU. We do need the credentials to actually be able to teach you, yeah? Otherwise, you'll be wondering, who is this weird person here that's guiding you? Yeah, you kind of get what I mean, right? Okay, so, for this notion over here, all right, um, you just give me a moment, yeah. Okay, for this notion over here, I will convince you that with regards to how I convey my sessions, you will actually get a better understanding of what is going to be conveyed for today, which is probability, statistics, and algebraic fractions. Okay, so of course, some of us are actually from MOE and Learning Lab, and I'll be frank, I'm from neither of them, but I do get experience from them so that I'll be able to convey their knowledge from them to you guys. And of course, over here, we are actually having very wonderful environments for our students to learn in, creating laughter, sometimes sleepiness at times, because the subject content is quite boring, not gonna lie. But we try to convey laughter along the way to make sure that you guys benefit not just from the knowledge, but also from the memories as we convey along. Okay, yeah, and besides also of that, we do also have resources. Unfortunately, there will be two particular resources that we are not able to provide out of the seven of them, all right, which is these two over here, because we don't have practical notes and hands-on experiments for math lah. Okay, but we do actually offer curated notes and revision, which we are doing now. Okay, mock exams, which will sometimes help depending on the situation. Cheat sheets, we do it again once in a while, maybe for certain subjects or highly demand subjects as well. And also sometimes if students need after class consultation, we are actually more than genuinely happy to assist them as well lah. Okay, so this is what we are actually offering for you guys in the long way run to come. Okay, I'm not gonna fluff it out anything here. That's roughly about it. All right. Okay, so any questions over here before I get down to the main business for today? All right, just check. Yeah, you are supposed to be over here for this particular session. Okay, now I think most of the crowd is already running in. So for those who have no questions, I'm gonna send in the student copy. It's gonna take a while to load into the Zoom chat. Please download and get the necessary things to prepare. I'll give it 2 to 3 minutes before we get on to the revision down and get started. Okay, once you guys are ready, right, just drop me a thumbs up, okay, so that I know that you guys are definitely more than ready and awesome to start, all right? Okay, regardless whether you have the worksheet, hard copy, soft copy, regardless what copy you have lah. Okay, I know along the way I will definitely have to send a copy again, so just do bear with me, as I might have to stop the session along the way and send stuff. Okay, maybe at about 20 to 30 minutes interval for the first maybe 30 minutes, but I think the crowd should actually sit in by now, yeah. Okay, thank you, thank you. All right, okay, I'll just wait for a while more before I start, yeah. Okay, just a bit more. You realize I'm staying silent because I am really waiting for everyone to settle down, making sure that you guys are really ready to start. There's no point on rushing over here. I understand that you guys are already facing a lot of stress, not only just for math, you guys are taking multiple subjects. So I want to make sure you guys are well, comfortable, and seated wherever you are. Just hopefully not in the MRT or bus or I don't know, playing bowling along the way and having some music along the way while looking at me through YouTube and hopefully to get the content. All right. Unfortunately, I do not have the godlike powers from that side. Just make sure you're in a comfortable environment, well seated before we start. Okay, just give you all 30 more seconds. Okay, yes. No problem. All right, I kind of foresee it again. I'm gonna send in the chat, yeah? Okay. All right, Chloe, can you try again? All right, I'm sending in the chat. Please try again to download. All right, let me know whether you have the copy, yeah? I mean, once you're able to download the copy, drop me a thumbs up. Can? Okay, good. All right, okay. I think, okay, awesome. All right, let's get started. Okay, so we are really gonna go into this order of probability, then statistics, then algebraic fractions. I would say the main bulk of the revision today will be on these two lah. The last one is really more of a recap in case you are a little rusty with your algebra and some of you may have forget to, multiply your denominators. Make sure the denominators are the same when it comes to algebra. Because when it comes to numbers, your brain can function, but when it comes to algebra, suddenly your souls fly your body. Don't worry, I'm aware of that. Okay, and today I will conquer with you guys of all these fear and concerns over here, regardless of what happens. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, let's not beat around the bush anymore. So today, really, we are really just focusing on in this order: probability first, statistics, and algebraic fractions. Now, why this particular order? Because probability can be standalone. Statistics, it is quite frequent that they can weave in probabilities into statistics. I repeat, it is possible for topics over here to be weaved in into statistics. Okay, some of y'all may have been like, I've done these questions before. Some of y'all may be like, Jill, why so troublesome? Such is life, lah. They always like to create trouble for you all. But I'm here to remind you that this is possible. I'm here to tell you that as long as you're aware of the fundamental concepts behind each topic, you will be fine. This one is mainly standalone, I would say. Usually the case. But I'm gonna face questions whereby you see probability, standalone. You're going to revise a few concepts here and there. Statistics, stand alone, and a mixture of questions here, and a bit of algebraic fractions involved. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. And in this case, before we go on to the realm of combined events, right? Let's get on to when the world is a bit nicer, and we start off by a single event. So say for example, let's say if I toss a coin, a fair coin. I mean, this is a very common example, right? Toss a fair coin. How many possible outcomes do I have? Heads, tails. Correct? So you realize as I'm pointing this, the number is 2. And I know some of y'all will say, sure, y'all will answer this question very fast. What's the probability of voting a head? 50%. How come 50%? Out of the 2 parts, only 1 is head now. So with this intuition over here, you will actually have to understand the total number of possible events. In this case, the total number of possible outcomes has to be at the denominator, and the number of time the event appears has to be at the numerator. As a result, if you actually see the proper probabilities, right? Okay, out of n possible outcomes, this n must be at the denominator. The value, or in this case, the alphabet k, will be at the numerator. Few other circumstances can happen, but one thing is for sure, that your k has to be less than or equals to n, and in this case over here, k has to be positive. Unless you tell me you can roll a negative 1 head, please show me. Okay, I will be really, 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 really fascinated for you to show me. You can even send a photo to me through Zoom. I want to see how you get a negative 1 hit. But once you get this down, right, okay, outcome of an event is not possible. It all boils down to, let's say, if I want to roll, using the same example. I want to roll a coin. Find a probability that I get a 6. You'll be like, huh, what are you talking about? Not possible, right? So out of, over here, n, I have 0 outcomes. Probability of rolling a coin, same thing. Find the probability that I get heads or tails. Sure, are you listing all the outcomes? That's why your probabilities are like that. So for those who are actually sort of like memorizing, I hope you get this down. Okay, now moving on a little before I get you all some time to assimilate over here. One style of question, the first variation of question that you may come about, a particular tool, which I will say this tool over here, it's rather nice, all right, to get by. It's this thing over here called your possibility diagrams. Now, if you actually look through the notes, right, there is no question of possibility diagrams because one, I would say it's quite rare. But we still need to revise just in case it comes out for exam, right? So this is really noting that, okay, how we fill in our possibility diagrams. So what it does literally is, usually possibility diagrams, unfortunately, is only for 2 events, whereby it will show all your possible outcomes. So say for example, if I were to use this example, sum of faces of 2 die. You realize how they get the numbers, right? 1, 3, I add them, that's why 4. 3, 3, I add them, that's why 6. So there are a few blanks over there, right? So that's where, let's test whether you all understand, alright? Any one of you all type in the chat, what would be this number here? Alright, I'll give you all maybe a few seconds, just type the number in so that I can get everyone's consensus. I'll appreciate your participation here so that I will be able to check your response, yeah? Okay, Cheryl, would you like to try again? Okay, I'm adding these 2 numbers, yeah? Alright, very good. Thank you, Ines. Very nice. Okay, alright, yes. Okay, so you guys are getting it, huh? I'm adding those numbers. So this skill set is needed. 1, 2, we get 3. Alright, let's try again, redemption. What about this number here? Very good, Xiu Hui, Zishan and Shara. Awesome. Very good, Rona. Thank you. Okay, Isaac, unfortunately, it's not these 2 numbers. I know that's part of the trend right now, but it's just one of them involved. All right, 4 plus 3, that's 7 lah. Okay, now, okay, moving on. I think you get all the numbers already. I will not start a trend. So what about this number? Okay, I will continue to refresh your memory. Right, awesome, awesome. All right, I'm seeing all the correct answers coming in. Very good. So I have 10. Okay, and I think the rest of the numbers I will just finish up. All right, just type in the response for me. What about this number? Okay, thank you, Richard. All right, let's carry on. Carry on the drive. Okay, very nice, very nice. Thank you, Tsusan, Isaac. Forgive me if I didn't call your name, because the chat might be running very fast. Okay, last number over here. All right, anybody who hasn't answered, I think I see some, didn't see some names. Thank you, Sarah, Richard. I've seen your names quite a bit. Isaac, Ines, Tsusan. Awesome, Vian. All right, Ilya. Vian, Ilya, who's answer? Putri. All right, thank you very much. All right, this is 11. Okay, so really noting that once you fill all the numbers, okay, the concept they can test is really like this. Find the probability that the two numbers will give me a prime number. Okay, so this is just one example of a case where the sum is a prime number. So all we need to do, follow your definition. Don't because you see two events, you get shocked. Total number of events, how much? Either you count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, 8, 9. Or in this case, you realize you can form a square 6 by 6 that is 36. Then all we need to do is to really force our way through. Add all my prime numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I hope I'm not missing anything. Yeah, so 15 out of 36. And in this case over here, dividing by 3, I have 5 over 12. So really counting all the possible events in the squares. Nothing more, nothing less. All right, give you a bit of time to consolidate this. Once you're ready, drop me a thumbs up. For those who are all good, I will move on. All right, I'll just get a general consensus of the thumbs up. I'm not going to wait for 73 of y'all to thumbs up. That's going to be a bit long. All right, thank you, thank you. Awesome, very nice. Thank you, Yuhan. Thank you, Richard, Riona. Awesome. Arisa, very good too, very good. Isaac, awesome. Very nice. Okay, okay, awesome. Okay, let me move on. Now, the main bulk, okay, this one I'm going to go a bit serious, but chill lah, chill. The main bulk of questions that will come about is this thing called the tree diagram. Now, for tree diagram, what happens? Each of the outcomes, you realize why I say n, because it is possible for two or more events. That's where the main bulk of question comes over here. That's where the main bulk of question comes over here, two or more events. So example, if your first one, okay, make say that you get outcome 1, outcome 2. Okay, then out of outcome 1, maybe what happens, there is an outcome 1A, outcome 1B. Okay, it continues branches from there. So each outcome, I would say, mainly the concept is they are represented as branches. Important thing to take note, before you actually look at this one over here, whereby we multiply along the branches for the probabilities, is to make sure for each particular branch that is branching out, I want you all to put a static note, not just for this one, not also for this one, and this one as well. For this tree diagram, I want you all to take note, even though most of you all are aware already. Make sure the sum is equals to 1 because these are all your possibilities. Okay? So reminder, because next one is going to be a question involved already that consists of filling in your tree diagram. So this one very important. Okay, once you get this down, if I want to say example, find outcome 1A. 1A is my end goal. What I do, I will literally go from the start point and trace along until I get 1A. Okay, let me use a different color. So maybe this one. I will trace along until I get 1A. Then all I need to do, multiply the probabilities along the branches. Literally, take your calculator, 0.2 times 0.4. This is equals to 0.08. That's it. Of course, there will be more things to add lah. But let's say if you're finding a particular outcome as such, if they are going along the same branch, please multiply them. Okay, can let me just go through two more that is related to this. One, addition law. Okay, it's not really a law per se. You might have implicitly applied along the way as well. Okay, so this one will only work if two laws. What am I talking about? If two events are mutually exclusive, means all right, there is nothing in common. There is no intersection. All right, I hope you guys are familiar with this notation. Yeah. All right, this means the empty set. There's nothing over here. All right, in terms of set notation, all right, what it means is, okay, I have a box. All right, I'm gonna have two circles. This is A, this is B. If you realize this means A or B, A or B, I am just adding the probabilities. Multiplication law, before I let you guys consolidate, before I move on to a question. If two events are independent of each other, yeah, that means if I find the intersection, all right, I'm saying that I multiply the probabilities together. All right, so this one, I'll let you all consolidate a little more. I think the color is a little light. Let me go to a darker color so that you guys don't go blind. Yeah. Yes, very good. Okay, so consolidate a little. If there's any questions, feel free to PM me. If you're shy to address it in the general chat, yeah, there's a PM in the Zoom chat itself, yeah. But otherwise, I'll just wait a while before I get started into the general style of questions that can come about in terms of probability. Okay, all right. Seems like the crowd is silent. Sometimes silence is good. Let's get started. Okay, so the first general style of question will be, I would say, if you see this, you should be happy. Why? They do the work for you. They even draw the probability diagram for you already. They draw for you already. So what happens, Mrs. Chan? All right, this is a context question. Four 50-cent coin, six 10-cent coin. Now you may wonder, sure, why do they actually draw this particular? Why do they even actually say four and six? All right. In this case, all right, it's just to help sort of assimilate the numbers. Okay. So very good question here, singing. Mutually exclusive means there is nothing in common. It's not the same thing as independent, yeah? Okay? I can still have something in common, but also they are independent. Example, me sort of being, how do I say this? It is possible for events where they have something in common, yet they are independent of each other. Example, let me just think of an example on the fly now. Okay, let's do a simple example. How about weather? Okay. Wow. Okay, this is a very weird one. Okay, let me think. Okay, let me think about this. Yeah, but just take note first. It is possible for events to be independent. All right, let me see how I can convince you. Okay, give me a while, yeah. Okay, let me see in context of this question. Two coins out. Okay, this is not independent. Let me think of an event that's independent here. Hmm, very good question. Give me a while to think through this, All right, give me about a minute. All right, if I'm not able to answer you after the class, yeah. Hmm. Independent. Okay, for that, I'll answer you first because I don't want to confuse you further. But if you actually look up at your own research in then on and you try to find out, it is actually possible for events that are nothing in common but also independent of each other. So just keep that in mind first, all right? Maybe after class, we can do a little bit of research on our side. Then we can actually find out and we will learn things together as well. All right, Xingyin? You can ask, so sorry for that, yeah. But just take note, all right? It is possible for events to have nothing in common, but also no, to have something in common and also independent of each other. Ah, okay, just take note. All right, now let's just go along and fill in this particular free diagram over here. And in this case, okay, remember I asked you to fill in one particular notion, right? Can anybody tell me, all right, what will be this number here? Okay, I'll let you all fill in for me, because you guys are revising. I don't want to fill in everything for me. What is this number here? Yeah, I don't even have to look at the context here. Tell me what's this number here. Okay, I see all the fractions coming down. Okay, very good. Giselle, Jisan, Sarah, Yuhan, Putri, awesome. All right, so most of you all got it down. Okay, if you realize the sum must be 1, this must be 3 over 5. Very good. What about the number here? Very good singing, Susan, Sarah. Awesome, awesome. Okay, very nice. Okay, very nice. So I see a lot of numbers here. So congratulations. All right, you fill in the number already. Now, next up is the one whereby we have to identify the correct branches. Find the probability that the total amount of the two coins is exactly this amount. Okay, so I am gonna take you a while to actually identify the branches. In fact, I'm gonna label them like this. Okay, from here, yeah, can you guys type in the chat? All right, what is the possible branch or branches that I will have to answer these questions? Okay, all right, I'm seeing all the responses, yeah? I'll wait for all the response to collate before I scroll and see, yeah? Okay, I see the final answer. Very good. Awesome. Okay, so in this case, I will have this one. Okay, to give me the 60 cents and this one. Now, just now during the example, you realize I only cover one branch, right? But in this case, if two separate branches, I'm saying this or this. I repeat again, this or this. Whenever you see two separate branches, I want you all to take note to please do the probability separately. So 3 over 5 times 4 over 9 or 2 over 5 times 2 over 3. This is where you take your calculator, just press the numbers, all right? You're going to get a wonderful value. Okay, nothing fanciful over here. Okay, can let me go through the last one. Now, part 2. I want to see what is your guys' thought process. Okay, hear the question properly. Using the most effective way. Effective, which branch or branches should I use to solve this question? 2 marks, I repeat again. Using the most effective way. Which branch or branches should I use to solve part 2? Alright, I'll wait for a response to collate. Okay, very good. Very, very good. Very good. Okay. Part 1 and D. Okay, okay, okay. So I see. Again, I'm seeing some in responses. Again, if you were to just write down the responses first, don't get influenced by the rest, yeah? Okay, all right. So some of y'all may be like, oh, okay, I see two different responses. How? To bring the benefit of doubt, all right, for Zhisang's response is correct. Singing's response, Vian's response, also correct. But I want to do this the most efficient. So the response that I'm getting is if you were to take part 1 and maybe add D, sure, you still get the answer. But because sometimes we do multiple branches, we may miss out a branch. So what I like to do, this is a skill set where you check whether you are able to take the complement. Not complimentary, not free stuff, complement. In this case, I want no 50-cent coins is taken. Okay, so that's why 1 minus, some of them say 1 minus, because if you take a look, 3 over 5 times 5 over 9, this is no 50-cent coin. Both are 10 cents. Okay, this is equals to 2/3. Again, this is the most efficient way. If you do it the way whereby you are adding 8 over 15 plus this one here, you will still get the answer. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out. This will be all the things you need to take note. Let me know if there are any queries before I move on to the next question. Okay, give you a while to consolidate. Okay, seeing I sent an example, right, to answer your question, you see whether you're able to understand the chat, yeah? Okay? Okay, I think there are no other queries, right? Okay, all right, let's move on. So, moving on. Now this one. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so for this one, right? Okay, I will say that sometimes this type of questions, some of y'all may be tempted to actually draw a tree diagram. It's okay. It's possible. It can help you out. Okay, so in this case, first, this type of question most annoying. Why? Walao, all words leh. I lazy to read. Translate lah. So half of the seed produces white flowers. This means PW equals to half lor. Translate the words first. Don't get confused. Then 1/3 produce yellow flowers. Translate lah. Yellow 1/3. Okay, then after that, red flower. Okay, so in this case, over here, red flower will just be, taking note, that I have this. Which means, okay, 1 minus 1/2 minus 1/3, this is 1/6. Really translating every single thing into your manipulation here first. Okay, once you are at it, okay, here is where things get interesting. Now, I want to check your responses. Can y'all tell me how most of y'all will answer part 8? Type in the chat. I want to see how most of y'all respond. I want to see how y'all do one part 8. Type in the chat for me. Okay, the reason why I say y'all can type is because I believe the working, alright, is not that tedious, but I want y'all to try first. Okay, before I go through. Okay, because this is a revision, yeah, not for me to. Okay, very good. Yihan, I'm very curious. I think it's a typo at your side. How do you actually get the 3/5? Just curious. Okay, very good, Aiden. Thank you very much. I'm just curious. Maybe it's some manipulation. Let me take 2/6 times 3/5. How do you get 3/5? I'm very curious. Ah, So check, okay, what I'm thinking is you all are just adding stuff. Okay, so for those who are not answering, no worries. Okay, that's why I'll go through. Now, intuitively, we will only usually think of one combination. In this case, yellow and white, right? What we will do is, oh, I can just do yellow first and then white. Okay, because you write one yellow, one white, ma. But take note, for this style of questions, so in this case over here, take note, this one is not about replacement. There's no replacement over here as such. Okay, I'm just picking stuff. One is producing, one is producing. The probabilities are given here. I'm not selecting a seed. Okay, I'm not saying I'm selecting all the seeds because the probabilities are all given here already. Okay, take note, if you read the question, I'm saying a large number of flower seeds. So it's so large that the replacement doesn't really matter. Keyword, I know the notion replacement, you understand. But large flower, large number over here means the replacement or no replacement doesn't affect. Because it's large number, ma. Maybe the question from here, doesn't affect. Okay, so be very careful, So from here, I'm just noting the order. That's why they say a large number of flower seeds, so that the replacement, no replacement doesn't affect. Later, it will come, not to worry. So if I check through here, this, if you take a close look, but I get your attention from your replacement part, Yuhen, so that's a good thing that you're taking note. But for this one, there's no replacement. Can. Okay, if there's still confusion, just let me know, yeah? Now, this one over here, I'm saying that there is one yellow and one white. But what happens? When I'm selecting a seed, there's a certain order. So what is stopping me from saying the first one is white, second one is yellow? So please take note, this one, there is a certain order that we need to consider. Therefore, answer for this is 1/3. Okay, can Can you just multiply by 2? Can, no problem. Very good. That's another shortcut. Can, no problem. Because if you are able to think like that, means okay, your numbers over there quite flexible already. Very good, Zisan. Any other questions? Okay, let me move on first. 1B. Neither will produce a red flower. So if I take a close look, no red flower, right? So tendency over here is we check. Are we able to do this an easier way? Because I know a lot of you will think of what? No red flower means I must have one white, one yellow, one white. What's not, yada yada, or maybe one red, and what's happened? Yes, so Cheryl has given me the answer. Very good. So what we need to do is no red, right? Means I pick the first one, I straight away consider no red. So 1 minus 1 over 6. That's why she say 5 over 6. And over here, 1 minus 1 over 6. You can write 5 over 6 straight away. Then this is the answer. And I know some of you all may be wondering, why this one don't multiply by 2? Okay, I'm going to repeat this if I multiply by 2. So you see, you hear what I'm saying? So if neither produce red flower, right, I'm saying either first one is not red, second one is not red, or the first one is not red, second one is not red. Do you all see the repetition here? First one is not red, second one is not red, or the first one is not red, second one is not red, first one is not red. So yeah, I'm even confusing myself. It's different from this one where first one is yellow, second one is white, or first one is white, second one is yellow. There is distinctively a different order that will affect your probability. So that's why this one we don't multiply by 2. This one we need to multiply by 2. Give you some time to absorb first before I move on to the second part. Okay. It's not important, got a certain order. Okay, now, it is possible that they do two seats, but they can raise it up. And you realize why I say this? Because if you want to do at most two seed will produce white flowers, right? There might be too many combinations that we need to consider. So sometimes it's better that we actually find the complementary event. Not free event, okay? All right, complementary event. Okay, it's not Pimentary, okay? So if I take a close look, if you realize it will be easier for me to find a complementary event because if at most two seats means W is less than 2, I want to find the exact opposite of this. The exact opposite of this is W more than 2, but I only have 3 seats, ma. So the only way in this case, W more than 2, meaning exactly for this situation, I want to have all 3 seats are white. And we know this is the best thing in the world to calculate. Because since all of them have the same color, we check white is what? 1/2. 3, okay, there is no need me to multiply by additional 3 over here. No need. Okay, can let me move on to the last one before I consolidate and get any questions for this one. Now, if you see variables like this, I know a lot of y'all will get stunned. That's why I want y'all to take note, spot the pattern. So what pattern? What are you talking about? What are you talking about here? And it's a variable, right? Let's just assume it's a number lah. Given that one seed is chosen at random, find that one seed produce red flower. Okay, sure. Okay, if 1, okay, I have 1 over 6. Okay, if n is 1, probability 1 over 6. Space a notch, I change it to 2. N is 2, so find that all 2 seeds are red flowers. So 1 over 6 times 1 over 6. Then some of you all may do it directly, but take note, remember when we want to spot a pattern, we want it to be relevant to the term number. If you know your number patterns, we know that we always want it to relate to the term number, which in this case, this way. So if you continue the trend, right, okay, you try to spot with these two trends. Maybe let's try one more lah. Okay, let's try n is equals to 3. Okay, so for those who are fast enough, type in the chat, what is the probability that all n seeds in terms of n will be producing red flowers? All right, come type in the chat for me, guys. Yeah, I'll give you a while. Take note. I know it's I know it's quite a bit for y'all to type in the chat. The end, very good. All right, so most of you, I hope you all got it down. Okay, so this one over here, right? Is really spotting the pattern if you have variables. So once you're able to spot the pattern, 1 corresponds to power 1, 2 corresponds to power 2, 3 corresponds to power 3. Usually with variables, we want to spot a particular pattern. All right, so I'm gonna zoom it up to this point. Let me know if there are any queries. All right, before I move on to a last variation for probability over here. Okay. Again, give you a while to consolidate before I move on, yeah? Okay, very nice. Now, let's roughly eat about probability because when we move on to, no, there's one more question. Oh my God, I have a shorter memory. There's one more start of question. All right, now the last start of question that I know you will definitely not really like it because it is actually towards your pinpoint when you all actually start learning math in Set 1. Algebra, confirm will mix one. I won't say confirm, high chance. But then again, do not falter. Know your fundamentals. A bag contains this is the total number of counters. A lot of them are in words. Remainder, it's in words. But can we translate this? How many blue counters do we have? Very good, Sarah. So therefore, if I want to find the probability, I think you guys are very active. So what's the probability the counter is blue, guys? Type for me. Probability counter is blue. Type for me in the chat, guys. Okay, I'll give you a while, no worries, alright? No rush over here. Follow the concept, yeah? Very good, Sarah. Just remember my brackets over there, but I understand. Very good, Sonny. I understand. It's a hassle to type brackets. But when you do it, just make sure the whole numerator is at the top. Very good, Putri. Thank you. Very good, Zisan. Thank you very much. Okay, singing. Awesome, awesome. Okay, I understand it's a bit of a hassle to type in the chat. Okay, Zisan, I think there's a typo. Denominator not correct, but you got the idea down. Okay, so yeah, thank you for the brackets and thank you for the effort in typing it down. I really appreciate it. But really noting your fundamentals, you realize the question type is really just noting how many total you have, then how much you are looking for interested ones. Once you get this down, okay, now here's the catch. Read the question. I put a indicator here. Is this with or without replacement? Type in the chat, with or without. Okay, let me see. Okay, very good, Aiden. Very good, Sonny. Very good, Sarah. Very good, Susan. Very good, Megan. Very, very good. Very good, singing. Very good singing. Sorry, I'm a bit rude here. Very good, Angel. Awesome, awesome. Very good. Yeah. So that means y'all got to read the question. Why? Must be back first question, not replacement. So, no replacement. So that means if you read this one over here, both counters drawn are blue. That's where I can't remember who did the subtraction. Let me go trace the chat so that I'm able to relate. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? La, 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 la. That's where Yuhen's notion of no replacement will come in. I love your response. So total will minus 1. That's the important part. And in this case, since both counters are blue, all right, noting the fact here, probability of blue. Okay, both, let me write it in the proper way. Both blue is gonna be 5 over 22. First one blue, we calculate already, ma. 12 minus n over 12. Replacement, because it's blue, not because it's blue. No replacement, bottom minus 1. But the first one, I select blue. Second one, what will be the numerator? Type in the chat for me, guys. What will be the numerator? Very good, Sarah. Awesome. Very good. Rest of y'all, anybody wants to try? Chaping in? Or if you feel that Sarah's response might be incorrect, even though I say correct already, type in the chat. Yeah, I won't waste time. It's 11 minus n. Very good singing. Awesome. Okay, most of y'all, I hope we get it down. Because it's the same item, tendency is we'll subtract 1. Trick question. Do I need multiply by 2? No need, Very good, Sarah. No need, Very good, Susan. They are the same item. It's the same whether I select blue or blue or blue or blue. I select so many, I think I sound like a fish already. Okay, so this is really noting the information you have, and luckily, they ask you to form only. Another variation of question can be asked you to solve. But we stop at forming lah, because a solve, I think you can solve lah. You take the quadratic formula, negative b plus minus square root over b square minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, but this one, we are just talking about forming. Okay, so we just multiply 12 minus n, 11 minus n. 12 times 11, that's going to be 132. Okay, then all we need to do is form to this form. So really just brute force expansion. I honestly don't want to waste too much time in this part. Multiply by 132 over 52 times 132, that gives me 30. You do your normal expansion, all right? So I have 132, all right? Minus 12n minus 11n plus n square equals to 30. You bring over... you realize I'm not even really talking much over here because it's just a normal manipulation. Okay, but moral story, your concept of with or without replacement here comes in handy as such. Okay, let me say. Replacement, okay, no worries. Okay, so in this case, please check with your school because definitely in terms of probability, there will be replacement that is involved lah. Okay, so please check with your school. But if you think about it, if I replace an item, example, okay, I'm giving you an analogy. If I pick a blue counter, I replace the item. Will the total change seen? No, right? I take the item. If I replace means I replace with the same item. So everything won't change. But without replacement means I take that item. It's gone. It's forever gone. It just disappear. I take it away. Haha, I don't know what I'm going to do with the counter. So that's why I realize I take one item. The total confirm won't change. Denominator, it depends on the item of interest. Since both is blue, first one blue already, the second item is of the same interest, therefore it will drop by 1. If I say blue and not blue, then it's a different story. Okay, if I say blue and what's the other color? Blue and green. So if I say blue and green, I'm just going to do one possibility. Blue, if this is without replacement, and green, bottom won't change. Bottom will change, top won't change because green is N. I hope this is a little clearer, but please check with your teacher, yeah? Because this one is in the syllabus. Okay, so of course, in this case, because blue and green, if they ask you to do that, you need times 2 lah. Okay, of the order. Okay, this is 1 blue, 1 green. Okay, a bit sidetrack a bit lah. But yes, any questions before I move on to statistics? N is the number of green parts. Okay, give you a while to consolidate before I move on. Yeah, I'll wait for a few seconds before I move on to statistics. Statistics, one short question, one long question. Okay, very good. Before we go on to statistics, please make sure if you have your calculator with you, hopefully it's the Casio one, because I think many schools are providing a Casio one. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes for you to dig your calculator. Alright, if you have, good. I am not surprised actually if some of you don't have, because over here, some of you all may actually be just looking at the slide and waiting for my answers. Haha, don't think I don't know. Okay, but in this case, just take out a calculator. I will actually share a particular tool if your school hasn't gone through, but I hope they do. Because if you were to calculate a standard deviation by hand, that's going to be very painful. Okay, so in this case, please make sure you take out a calculator. We're going to recap in terms of certain stuff, and especially the calculator method to calculate certain stuff. Okay, alright. All good, Let's go. Second part, statistics. Now, for statistics, okay, I am not going to go to how you read the cumulative frequency curve and box and whiskers. We are going to do that as we do questions. We are going to actually look at certain style of questions over here, certain concepts over here, where it should seem familiar. First one, mean. Average of the set of numbers. Really is noting that if you are looking for mean, it is really just the notion that you are doing this. Okay, whereby the top is the sum of all the x values over the total frequency. Okay, my color coding will work this way one. After that, I think I'll just sound off mode a little bit quickly because when you see mode, wow, you all love it the best. It's just whichever value appears the most, that's your mode. That's why most frequently. Median can be very confusing, alright? It's just the middle value of the set of data. Take note, it must be arranged in the ascending order. If it's not in the ascending order, I'm sorry guys, you have to redo your median. Okay, the thing is also, it might be the case where there are two middle numbers. What do I mean? Say, for example, my set of data is like this. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9. Where is the median? It is actually this invisible number here. But it cannot be just invisible, right? I need to have a number. So that's where you actually need to calculate the average of these two wonderful numbers here. 4 plus 5 over 2, this is 4.5. This is what you are doing when I say taking the average of the two numbers. So median must be very careful of this. If there's only one value, you take that value lah. Okay, say for example over here, 1, 3, 4, 7, 9. 4 is the number that splits into 2, so median is 4. But of course, you don't list all the number out lah. Okay, otherwise that'll be too tedious. So we call for median, there is a shortcut formula for which you are taking n plus 1 over 2. This particular value will be the median. What is n? N is the number of data values. We will go through this in a while later on how we utilize that. It's a specific question for us to take note of this. So for those who are wondering what am I talking about, you stay tuned. For those who are noting, very good. Okay, let me move on. Now, measures of dispersion. First one, it's the simplest but the most inaccurate because if I want to calculate the range of values, it will actually be the highest and lowest. Sometimes this is the most inaccurate because your highest value can be so high, but the lowest value can be so low, and most of your values are actually jumbled up at the lowest value. What do I mean? You get my point. So if you calculate the range for this, it is not accurate. That's why we move on to this thing called the interquartile range, where we do this thing called the 75th percentile and the 25th percentile, then we take the difference. Basically, we are really just finding the median of the upper quartile and the median of the lower quartile, which happens to be a little bit more accurate, where we find the median here. That will be your 25th percentile. I mean, it's not really the best, but it's better as such. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me do a little bit of magic here. Woo! It's 25th percentile. Okay, let me erase this. Okay, 75th percentile. Okay, then over here, I've gone through the mean already, but I want y'all to take note what does this mean because sometimes you will need to sort of express it over here. This means sum of the squares of the values of the x values lah, basically. Then the bottom is the same stuff lah, total frequency. I think this one no biggie. Is the top that I will go through in a while if they ask you to calculate. Okay, can I give you some time to consolidate whatever I've written before we kind of recap a little bit on the calculator method? Any questions, please ask. Okay, maybe I give about 1-2 minutes to take note of all of this before I move on. All right, awesome. Okay. Now, can you all do me a favor? All right, please do yourself a favor and don't do this by hand. There is a reason why we spend money on a calculator, even though some of y'all may feel it is still okay in terms of the amount, I guess. Some of y'all may find it a little bit expensive, that kind of thing. That's why utilize it lah. So let's say I want to calculate the mean and standard deviation of the data set here. All right, help me do these steps and enter your data accordingly. All right, I give you 2 minutes to do so. Okay, before I go on, all right, please just type down the values there. Follow the steps accordingly. You will take note and make sure that your values are like that. Don't calculate manually, please, it shouldn't be the case. Okay, in about maybe I give you a minute or 2 minutes, 2 minutes. In about 2 minutes, I will actually review, all right, how your particular entries should look like. Okay, 1 more minute. Okay, always make sure, okay, regardless of the data set, I want you all to make sure your frequency is on. Okay, even though they list the data like this. Okay, example, let's say I don't give you the data, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because if you key in your values, your calculator will auto detect the frequency as 1, which is fine. So just leave your frequency on regardless whether it's displayed on a table or explicitly like this. Okay, now for those who are on track, check when you enter your data, right? It should look like this. Please check. Okay, of course, the number 5, I cannot fit at the bottom, so it should be like 5 and 1 at the bottom lah. Okay, the reason why 2 is highlighted is because the highlighter part is here. Okay, the last entry should be 5 and 1. How to go back to the original mode? Original mode. Okay, you click. Okay, let me take my calculator. Okay, you click. Wrong calculator. Okay. Okay, so you click menu. Okay, then you see the times divide plus minus that's the original mode lor. Okay, you try. Rachel, you try. You can drop me a thumbs up or you just reply me in the chat. Okay, that's the original mode lah. Okay, then for those who are doing the calculations, right, if you are at step 6 and step number 7, okay, you realize that with this data, you are able to find the mean, which is over here. You are able to find let me use the darker color. The mean, which is over here. You are able to find my standard deviation, which is over here. Okay, there are quite some symbols lah. So take note, mean is this. No problem, Rachel. I'm glad to help. Okay, standard deviation is here. Okay, if y'all cannot see, mean is this, standard deviation is this. Okay, respectively. Okay, so I will give you a while to play with the calculator before we go on to 2 standard kind of questions that you will definitely see. Yeah, all good ah. Okay, no questions ah. Wow, that means your calculator skill very sweet. Love it, love it. Okay, that means it's all good. Okay, okay, I got question. Please ask, please ask. Don't worry, don't shy. How to turn on frequency? Okay, you follow the steps that you press shift menu. You must go the down arrow because if you shift menu, your first step, right? If you see two, right, you see angle unit. That one cannot. You must click a down arrow first, then you will see statistics. Then you click 2, there will be an indicator for you to turn on frequency. Okay, Almira, you try. Go up a bit lah. Can, no problem, Michelle. Wait lah. Okay, let me zoom out a bit. Your a bit is how much bit? This bit can? A bit more, huh? Okay lah, I think I get what you mean. Okay, you know what? Let me just do this. Yeah. Okay, can? Okay, Almira, let me see. Okay, very good, very good. No problem. It's a bit too small lah. I think I'm zooming for you. Okay, any other questions with regards to the calculator part? Please let me know. Yeah, anyway, the answers will still be sent and provided to you all, but I understand that it might take off extra time, so just let me know when you need to write down stuff lah. Okay. Okay, very good. Any other questions for the calculator? No have ah? No have ah? Confirm ah? I counting down ah. Last 20 seconds ah. Last 10, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, sweet. Now, what happens is you will still need to remember your other diagrams you learned in Sec 2 ah. Aha. So don't because you remember all the Sec 2 diagram not tested lah in Sec 4. Don't please stem and leaf possible. So stem and leaf we call, why is it the stem and leaf? This your stem, this your leaf. This is your stem, these are your leaves. How you read? Okay, example. That's why they say this one like that, 15. I test you all before I carry on first. I don't want you all to suddenly I go through your loss. How do I read? This number. Type in the chat. I want to see. Isaac, thank you. Susan, thank you. The rest, come. More response. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, this one you test a little bit. Thank you, Putri. Very good. All good. Stella, very good. Thank you. Singing, very nice. Very good. Very good. Okay, so you all got it down, Nico. Thank you. Okay. Okay, yeah. So you got it down, Okay, this is one number. Okay. Think I don't want to scare coincidence. Let me test one more number. How do I read? This one. Last one. Then I go through the question already. Very good. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you, Barbie, Giselle, Putri, Emily. Wow, 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 Stella. Awesome, awesome. Okay, okay, good, good. I know y'all know already. Can, sweet, sweet. Okay, so this is how you read your stem and leaf. So using the data given, find the median mark. Okay, ignore the wording there it starts from part 1, but mini typo I will adjust later. So find the median mark. So please don't list the whole 23 values. Okay, that's why you have that formula. Number of data value plus 1 divided by 2. This particular data value, which is the 12th value, will be your median. And please count ascending. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This specific one. Okay, I repeat, this specific one. Just need to tell me median actually 23. You actually don't have to write this down. This is to gauge there is a 12 value, 1 mark only. Okay, nothing fanciful Okay, now what happens if it's a decimal? Let's say I change this to 24. Let's say Okay, 24 plus 1 divided by 2. Alright, let's say, for those who are wondering what happens, it's possible to get decimal. You will get a 12.5. This 12.5 means I will take the average of the two consecutive numbers that gives me the 0.5. So in this case, let's say it's 24 let's say it's 24. The 12th value and the 13th value. I will take the average of these two values. So again, let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So in this case, let's say there are 24. Let's say the median will be 23 plus 24 divided by 2, assuming if it's 24. Okay? The accurate one is the red one, the blue one is the assuming part. Can Okay? All good Now let me move on here. Now, box and whiskers, before I go through, can anybody tell me what are the 5 different values here that it gives me? Example, don't tell me the exact value. It's too much. I don't need you all to read me the exact value. Tell me what are the values it gives me. Okay, example, maybe it gives me the mean, gives me the median, gives me the mode. What does it give me? Okay, very good. Gives me the range. Range consists of what values? Very good, Cheryl. Very good. Okay, all 5 are there. All right. Okay. So, thank you, Putri, for telling me one indicator to type, and thank you, Cheryl, for giving me the whole package. So, especially noting that we have the mean, Q1, Q2, Q3, and maximum. From there, we are able to calculate interquartile range. Usually it's 2 mark, but for this one, 1 mark because they sort of label for you already. This is a free mark. Please don't waste it. This is a free mark. So I know this is going to be 32 minus 20. Interquartile range for Y is 12. Each box is 2. Okay. Okay, can Now, last style of question. It's a very common variation of question that will come about when it comes to statistics. Must take note when you explain. You'll see that again later. Okay, so in part 1, sorry, what we did was we find the median. Part 2, and then part 3, we need to take note of 2 comparisons. In this case, 2 comparisons means I need to use 2 indicators. What are the 2 indicators? It's kind of shown here. Median, interquartile range. So before you go and actually write down the statement, don't think of it in your head. The paper got so much space. Please write it down. What is the median? And what is the IQR? You do the same thing for class Y. This one, no need to write in your working, but it'll be a good habit to do so. Okay, so what happens? You realize in this case, class X, I know the median. Class Y, I know the interquartile range. Then you realize, sure. Then class Y, I don't know the median. Class X, I don't know the IQR. How? Fine lor. Class Y, we do the easier one. Interquartile range is just here. 25. Okay, so we list down 25 first. Can Okay, class X is a little bit troublesome because we need to find the interquartile range, which is noting that since the median is here, okay, median, I don't care this value already. I want to find Q1 and Q3. For such values, we are really finding the medians of the lower quartile and medians of my upper quartile respectively. Each of them will have equal values. So let's check for the stuff here. It's really finding the medians of each. Median here is going to be 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 plus 1 over 2. That's going to be your 6th value. So over here. The other part is also 11. Let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm finding the median of the lower quartile. Upper quartile, your first value starts here. That's the upper quartile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we are taking the difference, and then we note 35 minus 19. Your interquartile range for this is 16. Still need to calculate lah, no choice. We write it down. Now, comparison, median IQR. We compare the medians. What can we say? Why do we plus 1? Because of the main formulas, Sarasa, or in this case, the way on how we generalize the median to be calculated when we list them out explicitly. Okay, so let me just give a general example. Example, we know the median here is 3, right? 3 is third position. Total number of values is 5 plus 1 divided by 2. It will get me the third position. Somehow it corresponds. Through many other values that corresponds as well, that's why we plus 1. Okay, I cannot list down all the possibilities lah. Can I? Okay, how about the rest? Before I make the comparison. Okay, let me move on. Now, this one, I don't think I will prompt because it takes quite a bit of typing for y'all to do. So I will do the initiation for this. Now, when we talk about comparing median and IQR, and for the next one, when we talk about mean and standard deviation, okay, we need to indicate a few keywords, which I'll elaborate a little bit more again. Okay, so if let's say I want to compare median, medians is usually associated with better performance. So when you write down, I need to see this. Plus Y, generally, I need to see the word generally for me. Your schools on average, what's not, is okay. But you are doing this for a general population. So if you don't write the word generally, you will get marked down. It's a little bit of English, my apologies, but you'll get marked down. Okay, so class Y generally scored better than class X. But of course, you cannot just say like this lah. Why? That's where your evidence comes in. As class Y has a higher median of 25 as compared to class X of 23. Okay? Statement, reason. I need to see the word generally. Generally. Second one, again, if I use class Y, lower interquartile range. I repeat, this one is a common mistake. I need to note that if there's a lower interquartile range, I will repeat your. Okay, let me zoom. Let me zoom. Okay, let me zoom in here. Your if there's a lower interquartile range, your marks for class Y, take note, this one might be confusing to some. Okay, you can say are more consistent. I know some of y'all may find a little bit confusing on this, so you can switch it and say less spread out. Some schools accept the one they're writing in, what's this color? In blue. I need to go colorblind. In blue. Okay, but if you were to note why is it more consistent, let me do a little bit of demo with the hands here. If I have a lower interquartile range, am I able to fit in more variation of values or less variation of values? Lesser variation, right? Very good, Susan. Very good, Sarah. If there is lesser variation of values, will the values in this particular range I'm drawing be more consistent throughout or less consistent? Which means I won't see like 1 million. That's too far apart of a variation. With that range of values that I am restricting my numbers in, your marks in this case on the numbers will be more consistent, right? Because I can fit lesser variation of values. So that's why more consistent, and then we compare. Then that of class X. All right, as class Y, okay, interquartile range of how much? 12 is lower than that of, it's a bit lengthy, but I need you all to write it down. Class X interquartile range of 16. Anyway, for those who are wondering, I think y'all might get the timing as we will stop at 6 o'clock, but not to worry, because generally for math it's a little troublesome, so I'm willing to stop a bit later at 6:30. But however, for those who need to leave at 6, feel free to do so, alright? There will be more than enough time, the answers will be uploaded, the recording will be uploaded as well, okay? I will stay all the way to 6:30, so I am not rushing at all. So don't worry, okay? If you need to rush off, feel free to do so, but I will stay up to 6:30 and I will make sure I think I can even complete by before that, so not to worry. Okay, so what I'm saying for IQR, which is synonymous with the explanation for standard deviation, okay, is going to be lower IQR or lower standard deviation, which you're going to see around, more consistent or less spread out. Higher IQR, less consistent, or more spread out, depending which one your school accepts. I leave it up to you to decide. But I need to see generally. Oh, in fact, I said already, I made a mistake over here. I need to see a word generally. Okay, give you a while to consolidate. Let me know if there are any questions. Okay. Anything I should take note before I move on to the final question on statistics and then a very quick rough word on algebraic fractions? Okay, all right. Now, last lot of questions that you will come about. And in fact, I will say out of the many ones, if you have statistics questions, confirm will come out this one. Okay, it will be on, it will be on my cumulative frequency curve. So for those who forget how your cumulative frequency curve is read, please remember, now we're going to do this. So I harvest 250 potatoes using fertilizer X. Cumulative frequency curve below shows the mass distribution of potatoes. Okay, so this is how your cumulative frequency curve works. And with part A, I am going to tell you how to actually note your frequency curve is drawn. So let's recall how your frequency curve is noted. Okay, part A. The farmer only sells potatoes that weigh 56 gram and above. Okay, so that means if you see this number, usually we will want to trace. So we will find the number, in this case 56 is here. And then we will trace here. Okay, so we need to correspond the numbers. This is 56. All right, then over here, my number corresponds is going to be, let me count, 60, 70. Now, in this case, for cumulative frequency curve, 56 gram and above from the question here. Okay, do I take the number in orange or do I actually look up for the number in red? Type in the chat for me, guys. Orange or red? Okay, very good, Emily. Anybody else? Very good, Zhisan. Anybody else? Okay. Okay. Very good, Isaac. Awesome, awesome. All right. Okay, so most of you that answer it knows, the cumulative frequency curve notes the part where if I have 56 and I look down, it accumulates the number that is less than the number itself. So please do not do the orange one. Okay, let me remove all the colors. Sorry for that. Let me just rewrite this. And note that this is for 56 gram or less. So I want to sell, I need to take the upper part, which first we need to know what's the total minus the indicated number. So I need to do this. I will do 250 minus 70 over the total number. Nothing fanciful here. Okay, which is what I've illustrated just now. Okay, can Okay, now, if I move on, take note, sometimes they can give you a group frequency table and you will need to complete the group over here. Same fanciful stuff over here as the number. You are given 60, 80, trace from those numbers here. All right, so we trace and then we note 60 is the one in red. Okay, this gives me 70, 80, sorry. 80. And then I have, what am I looking for again? I lost my memory. 80. Okay, so this is the number here. Tracing up, I have this part here, which is 175. Just track lah. 160, 70, small box is 5. So if I want to find 60 to 80, this is less than 80. This is less than 80. This is less than 60. But I want in between. Subtract lah. 175 divide minus 80. This gives me the number in the middle, which is 95. So I will zoom out, track the numbers for me. Let me know if there are any queries before I move on to the bulk of the questions at the bottom. Okay, if you need me to zoom in because the number is a bit hard to see, please let me know. Explain how to do again? Sure. So from here, you realize I have the number 60, right? 60, I track. So it gives me that less than 80 potatoes are 60 grams and lesser. The other one is 80, I trace. Less than 175 potatoes are 80 grams and lesser. Question wants us to fill this part. So what do? Just now I say this part is less than 60. This part is less than 80. I only want the one in between. That's why I subtract. Is that a bit clearer now, Cheryl? Okay, no problem. Any other questions before I move on? Now, before I move on, right? Okay, I want to do a little bit something special by indicating the middle numbers here. And this is where I need you all to get ready your calculator. Because if you look at the next three parts, part 2, part 3, part 4. Part 3 and part 4, you realize immediately 1 mark. It allows you to calculate the calculator method to solve once you key in this as the x value because it is the estimated, this as the frequency. Okay, what do I mean? Contains the median mass, first part, not really related, same stuff. Okay, we try to find the interval that contains the median mass, only the interval. Even if you realize, if I do the value plus 1, divide by 2, okay, this will get me, let me just check, okay, 125, okay, so I have 125.5. Okay, so this is in between the 125th value and the 126 value lah. Okay, we take the average. But if you guys say find the interval, what, how if the average not in the same interval, how? Here's the catch. Questions, even if it's taking the average or not, confirm always in the same interval. For your syllabus. If different interval, there's another formula, I'll not go to that They will always be in the same interval. So we check. I want it to be in the 125th and 126th value. So if you check and accumulate, first 35 values cannot be. This is the first. 80 values cannot be. This is the first 175 value. 175 125, 126. Confirm will lie over here. That's it. Because it lies in that particular medium, that's why that's the answer. Okay, part 3, part 4, this one really calculator work. All you need to do is repeat the steps as I made above. You key in this as your x values. You key in this as the frequency. You type, you check, okay, in 3SF. Okay, by calculator, you should get 68.4 gram, 22.6 gram. Okay, I give you a while to check and take note. Okay, maybe maybe about 3 minutes to check through lah. Part 3, part 4, convince yourself that these two are the values of your mean, mass, and standard deviation. Really is doing the steps that we did before on frequency. What's not just that the middle value we take is as such. Okay, can I'll give you a while more before I go through the next one. I think you will see the part this is what I mean. Confirm mix in one. 100%. Confirm mix in. Okay, no issues Wow. Okay, okay. That's good. That's good. Okay, don't shy If you all are still doing, please let me know. Okay, alright. Let's move on. Okay, so really part 1, part 2 is calculator work Don't waste too much time in writing the whole working. Unless it's 2 marks Okay, we shall not elaborate. Okay, if you want to know after the class, I can roughly show you, but I think for this example it's a bit tedious, so they won't ask you to do that. Okay, now mixing in of probabilities with statistics. 2 of the potatoes are selected at random without replacement. They even tell you nice without replacement. Honestly, even if it's such questions, will the concept change? No Find the probability that none has a mass between 60 and 100. So we check where is 60? 60 is at the 80 mark. Okay, where is 100? 100 is at the lama. I 100 I trace wrong. I trace at 90. Ayo, sorry Okay, 100 is here. Okay, 100 is over here. So I'm noting this. Okay, so this is 200, 10, 20, 30, 30. Yeah, 230. So if you look at the question, I want none having a mass between these two values. So how many potatoes have mass that is not between these values? In between is 230 minus 80. So do the math. Find out how much is in between first. Sometimes it is good to find out exactly the complement, which is in this case 230 minus 80, that is 150. So if I want none, total is 250. So the first one that we select will be 100 over 250, because in between is actually 150, which we calculate just now. Without replacement, same item selected. Denominator minus 1, numerator minus 1. After that, calculate. This is your final answer. It's just stats. Trace your values properly from the frequency curve. Put into your potatoes. Put into your potatoes. Put into the question. Okay. Why is it 100 instead of 150? 150 is the values that is between 60 and 100 gram. But the question say none. So that means I don't want it to be between. Singing, does it make sense? Can? Okay, awesome. Any other questions? No problem, no problem. Now, part 2, same stuff. Less than 60 gram, greater than 100 gram. Two different items. Less than 60 gram, we know we look down. 80. More than 100 gram, we look up. There is 20. The way we do the math is this, because now two of them are different items. So we can say 80 over 250. This is less than 60 gram. And 20, number don't change because I didn't select the same item, but regardless, denominator minus 1. Okay, this is more than 100. Probability concept don't change. I'm just reading the values from the graph. And in this case, what is one thing I've missed out, guys? See whether you all remember. I went through it just now. I forget to do something. Anybody wants to correct me? What did I forget to do? Very good. I need 2 times 2. Or in fact, if you forget the times 2, I need to rearrange and add the other combination. So if you forget the times 2, I am sorry, you may only get 1 mark, working mark, because you may only get the configuration. Okay, if your teacher is nice. If not nice, 0. Nothing fanciful, just letting you know, probability, some more with the replacement concept can be intertwined into the particular stuff here. Okay, any questions before I move on to the last part of statistics, and then I will just do a really quick one on algebraic fractions. Why need 2 times 2? If you cannot visualize times 2, first one is 80 over 259 times 20, right? So that means first one I select less than 60, more than 100. I can also say I select the one more than 100, but less than 60, right? So there is certain order. You can do this if it's clearer, or if you realize this one over here is the same thing as writing as this way, then you realize both of them are the same fractions, henceforth times 2. It's just a different combinations. Less than 60, more than 100. This is more than 100. less than 60. Is this clearer, Sarah? Stella, sorry? No problem. Any other questions before I move on towards, I think what y'all can predict already. Okay, Lai. How do you get 100 over 250 in C part 1? You are still confused. Take note. Okay, I want none that is between 60 and 100 mah. Total is 250. We check in between first. Between 60 and 100, 60 trace is 80, 100 trace is 230. In between is 150. But I want none. None means the opposite. Opposite, I need to. Is this better now, Angel? Awesome. Okay, any other questions before I move on to the explanation part? No problem. You can, Okay, right. Let's move on to the explanation part. And if you realize the pointers are the same, list the values down. Okay, please list your values down. This one, fertilizer Y, I copy and paste because it's here. Fertilizer X, okay, we calculated just now with your calculator. I hope you guys tried. Is 68.4 gram and 22.6 gram. Mean is the same explanation for median. Standard deviation is the same explanation for IQR. Okay, so if I were to use fertilizer X as a subject, I need to say this way. Potatoes grown using fertilizer X are generally heavier. Okay, as they have a higher mean mass of 68.4 gram compared to a mean mass of 62 gram for fertilizer Y. Explanation don't really change much. Okay, I can even do the same thing, just that I alter the phrasing a little bit. Potatoes grown in fertilizers X have generally more consistent mass. Okay, yes, the English has to make sense also lah. As they have a lower, don't write IQR, lower standard deviation. Okay. Of 22.6 compared to a standard deviation. Okay, let me just shift certain things. Of 23. With the data, nothing fanciful here. What I need to see is the black color one. The keywords I need to see, okay, is really this one. I need to see generally in both explanations for standard deviation and mean. For standard deviation, either use the word consistent, or if you feel that it's a bit contradicting, okay, you use the notion spread out. I leave it up to you. Okay, take some time, look through this. Let me know if there are any queries before I move on. Really, if you look at the question, last one explanation, nothing fanciful. Just get the notion of consistent spread out relative towards the indicator you are using. Okay, no problem, Giselle. All right, don't worry, don't worry. All right. Hopefully you benefit from this session that we are having. Do we need to say generally as well? Yes, Dion. Must say. Because we are taking the interquartile range from a whole population. Okay, can any other questions before I just take about 10 minutes for the next few? Because really the next few ones is really just a lot of simplification required for those who needs the help. Okay, just a recap for those who needs the help for algebraic fractions. Okay, that's it for probability and statistics. Let's just do some rough recap on questions involving algebraic fractions. So the first style of algebraic fractions can involve questions in this case. Sorry, I have a question here. Let me just see. Wait, Kate. How do you know when it's no replacement? The question will say. Either the question will say when it's without replacement or the question context will say. So example, when the question context say, I pick two people, even though even though it never says no replacement, am I saying that I can take the person, I clone the same person there and replace it? Context either directly or based on context of the question. Okay, this one I have to read it through. Okay, any other questions before I go through the main questions for algebraic fractions? Okay, can Okay, let me just go through the last few parts and then we call it a day. Alright, so first one involving algebraic fractions is the notion of making something a subject. So you realize this part of question, I will just go through it. This means it needs to be the main subject. So main subject means it has to be the main character, main star. It will only be just by itself. So whatever that's not supposed to be V will be shifted to the other side. 2s, first thing, I will multiply to the left. I have minus t squared, I shift it over, it becomes plus t squared. This is a common mistake, take note, V. When I square root, if you forget to write the plus minus, sorry, you will get marked down. Main subject basically stand alone by itself. Okay, moving on first before I let you all take note. Now, before you all go along and see, I need to combine my fractions. If you see so nasty denominators, please tell yourself to check whether I can make this in terms of the common ones, whether there's something I need to just multiply instead of saying I multiply this whole thing, say for example by 4y minus 2x. Don't torture yourself lah. Okay, so what happens? First things first, check, okay, if you don't want to do the tic-tac-toe, make sure to check whether it's an identity. What do I mean? Check whether this is a perfect square. In this case, check whether it satisfies the one in the middle in this way. If it satisfies the one in the middle, is this way. Plus minus square root 2a. No, Huiling cannot. If you're talking about this, cannot. Because the square root doesn't split into two parts. The square root encompasses everything. So cannot. Plus minus square root 2a cannot. Okay, because the plus is together with the value. You cannot split your square roots like this. So something you take note. Okay, moving on here. So in this case of the special identity, you realize it satisfies. So my fraction writes as this way. It will be a minus b squared. And then you realize this one I can simplify a little bit more. Okay, I can simplify as y2, 2y minus x. Now check, can I still make it such in a way whereby I can combine my fractions easier? You realize these two, okay, are like the same but flipped. So if they are in this case like negatives of each other, do yourself a favor. Change it back in such a way where I can do this way, flip it around, and I combine. Take note, I take out a negative. This becomes this. Minus minus becomes plus. Then you realize, things are simpler now. This means I have two copies of this. This one means I have one copy. I just need to multiply it this way so that I can combine my fractions. Expand it out. Okay, and then simplify. Okay, depending on answer schemes, you either can sort of leave it this way, or if you realize you want to be a little bit more atas, okay, you realize 2y is a common factor. For the top, you can factorize out 2y. Both are acceptable. Or if you want to expand out your x squared minus 2y at the denominator, also can. But honestly, no need to expand. Okay, so really noting the common denominator, then we expand like this. Let me know if there are any queries. Okay, this should be alright, but I'm gonna give you a few seconds to consolidate before I finish the last two. Okay, I'll wait for a while for any questions to come in. Okay, and consolidate if you need. Okay, alright, let's finish off the last two. So the last one over here is involving solving of an algebraic fraction. Honestly, don't be too worried. This one, just make sure your fractions here combine to be the same. So for fractions, I like to advocate a particular framework here that I like to do. I'm not too sure whether the teachers will teach you this, but honestly, this is just reminding you how you combine your fractions lah. Alright, so this one, no choice. First, you have to join your fractions. So x minus 3, x minus 3. 3 minus 2x, 3 minus 2x. So this one, no choice, you have to join your fractions. When do we cancel out the common algebraic thing? You mean this one? When there is a common factor, you can cancel lor. Over here, no common factor, so we don't cancel. There is nothing in common we can cancel at the top and the bottom. This is x minus y, x minus 2y squared. Does it make sense to say? Okay, back to here first. 2x. Why do you take out 2y minus x instead of 4y minus 2x? I simplify. I cancel out the 2 here. Make my life simpler. There's a common factor I can take out. Okay. Small numbers lah, make our life easier lah. 2x, x minus 3 minus 7, 3 minus 2x. Whole thing over 3 minus 2x, x minus 3. Honestly, both sides are fine. Okay, equals to 2. Then you need to expand the top. Okay, and then the bottom as well, cause we are solving. No choice. So we have 3x minus 9 minus 2x squared plus 6. Before you multiply your denominator to the other side, please simplify the top lah. Okay, simplify the top, simplify the bottom as well. Okay, so I call this framework for the fractions over here the J join, the E expand, and the last one, the S, which is simplify. 14x instead of 4. Yes, 14. Thank you very much, all right, for correcting my mistake over here. All right, thank you. So 14x. So negative 6 plus 14, that's going to be plus 8. All right, thank you for letting me know. Okay, then afterwards, I bring my denominator to the other side. So I'm gonna have 2x squared plus 8x minus 21. This is equals to minus 4x squared plus 6x minus 6. Bring everything to the right. I have 6x squared, sorry. 6x squared. 6 plus 2x minus 21 minus 15. All right, make your life easier. Bring everything down towards the simplest number. Okay, before cheat code, you check whether the numbers here are achievable by by just typing your calculator. So this is a very I would say, let me check Okay, this is a very not so nice one. Okay, because if you type your calculator, you realize you actually have decimals 6x for denominator. Denominator. Negative 2x squared. No, it's 3x. There's a 3x at the bottom only. So you multiply by 2 to the other side. Okay, butterfly. 3x minus 9 minus 2x squared. Oh, okay. Yes, I saw it. Okay, give me a moment. Thank you for letting me know again. So sorry, Okay, so this should be 9. Okay, let me rewrite. Yes, thank you for letting me know. So 9x. Okay, let me rewrite again. So I have negative 4x plus 18x minus 6. Multiply by 2. I bring everything over. This is going to give me negative 10x plus minus 15. Okay, then I want to simplify everything lah. So can I divide by, is this the simplest actually? Yeah, this is the simplest. So let's check. Maybe this time the numbers are a bit nicer. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, unfortunately, these are the numbers over here. 2x squared. The 2x squared is expanding this. You're talking about this 2x squared? Because 2 times minus 2x squared minus 4x squared, I am bringing this over, it becomes plus, if that's what you're asking. Can I hope I'm not confusing you. Okay, check your simplifications here, yeah. Okay, as much as quite some mistakes I have made a little, certain things you have to check your manipulation. Minus being over is plus. Okay, so from here you realize, okay, your numbers are not so nice. So that's where you do the cheat code. Do out your quadratic formula. And again, this one, your quadratic formula is for show. B squared minus 4AC. All right, over 2A. Take your calculator, press check your values in 3SF, 2.62 or negative 0.954 bracket 3SF. Okay, so take note, this one is for show. This one type calculator and find. Please do not evaluate each of these values. Don't waste time. Because 1 mark all the way here, not worth. Already for you to reevaluate this. 9x minus 9. Oh, okay. Let me check again. I'm so sorry, guys. Forgive me with my manipulation for today. Okay, -9. All right, so I have -18. Then I bring over. Will you change my answers a little? -3. Okay, so let's check. Okay, so sorry for that. Yeah, let me just check through. Okay, again, doesn't change much. Okay, but the idea is this: b squared minus 4ac. All right, thank you for the note. Over to a. This is gonna give me. All right, so 1.93. Or in this case, 0.260. Yes. All right. Okay. So thank you for being so attentive in terms of the manipulation. But the idea, okay, but going back to the idea, combining fractions following this framework, you won't go wrong. Okay, just take note and not make the mistake that I made so far in terms of simplifying my fractions, and you'll be fine. Okay, just check first. Please don't go and simplify my fractions. Check this one, simplify according to your expressions over here by pressing your calculator. If it's nice, do the factorization. If it's not nice, this one just for show. Okay, sorry for exceeding a little, yeah? Okay, I think the mistakes over here kind of pile up a little, but I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. Okay, give you a while to consolidate. Okay, can Last one, rearrange, make Z the subject. Same stuff. First thing, 1/3. I want to get rid of 1/3. I cube both sides. Again, Z means I want Z to be the character, main formula, main star. So I cube both sides. This is equals to y over 7z minus 6w. Okay, indices rule, top, bottom, still must remember x cubed over 27 lah. Okay, this is my y. Okay, now, if you don't know how to make z the subject first, do your particular skill sets. Fractions equal fraction, cross multiply. I want z to be the subject. All those without z, I shift to one side. I only want z, therefore, nothing fanciful. So really your mindset towards question 8 is to note how I should make z as standalone. Nothing more, nothing less. All right, check this through. We are pending here. Let me know if there are any queries that I should take note of. Okay, so the reason why I'm actually just really going through for the algebraic fractions because I'm just reminding you, all this stuff you have touched on are really more on the secondary lower sec stuff. So that's why I'm not really touching on a little bit more. Okay, last few seconds. Okay, all right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for your attention. All right, so let me just finish up. So if you're interested in lessons with Overmark, specifically for this EMath over here, I do have a slot at Bukit Timah at Tuesday, 7:30 to 9:30. So if you're interested, look into that particular slot. No force, all right, scan it through. Hopefully you enjoy this vibe of lessons I usually get, cause most of the time, this is the vibe I go to lah. Okay, nothing too much over here. It won't deviate too much on my regular lessons and in terms of the revision. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a while, scan the QR code for those who needs. Okay, and then to finish off, all right, if you find this revision helpful, all right, just join us for a trial class and maybe any teacher's class you like. Hopefully you find this enjoyable, so I hope to see some of you soon. Or if you may have visit other teachers' WA2 revision sessions, feel free to join IM for a trial class as well lah. So scan through this QR code specifically if you need. Or heads up, we are having our flagship Sec 1 to 4 June crash courses. So for you guys, it's the normal Sec 4 June crash courses that we have been having so far. So feel free to scan this QR code that if you actually are interested. All right, so thank you for your time. That's it for today. If there are any questions, I'll be staying and be able to answer your queries lah. Otherwise, thank you. Have a good day. All right, thank you, and bye bye.